Hello again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Orange
Favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews and your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. Like Lindsay, Sutton, and Judy. We are the Mile High Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Hello, Broncos country, and welcome to another episode of Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS. My name is Kevin. I am here with David and Naylor. We're going to talk about last week's Broncos game. Obviously, the Broncos dropped the ball, pun intended, against the Chargers. Probably going to make references like that all night. Before we get into it, want to thank our sponsor, Centennial State Insurance Agency. If you're looking for any kind of insurance, definitely reach out to them, and you won't be upset. They are a company that actually cares about you and not just your money. So reach out to them, 303-838-0554. You can also find them on Facebook. Okay, post your comments, post your questions. We're here to talk with you, not at you, and we want to hear your thoughts about this last week's game and what we need to do to get ready for the Raiders coming to town on the Week 17 matchup. So, Alo, start with you. Some reactions or big thoughts when it came to last Sunday's game.
Well, I'm really sad, Kev, Dan. Really sad about it. I've really put a lot of energy into it in this week's game out of any of them that I think that, we could show them what's up. We flounder. Another pull from behind that, we obviously can pull off, but getting down like that makes me be down. So
yeah.
And I feel bad for losing some enthusiasm.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I think we're all feeling that way. But David, I want to get your take on this question here. Did Lindsay being gone, have any effect on the offense? What would have Lindsay being out there have done for the team?
That's a really hard question to answer completely because sometimes Lindsay, lately with his injured as Lindsay has been, his effectiveness. What's up, Robert? Good to have you here. As beat up as he's been just down the stretch this season, he's really gotten a little bit less effective in these last few games. But on the other side of that coin, it's Philip Lindsay, and you never know when he's going to bust what looks like a 1 or 2 yard gain into a 60-yard gain. Right. It's just, one of those things that can completely turn the game around. We saw it in the first Chargers game, literally. And so, you can't just say missing this one player would have changed the game for us. But, that game was really close. And having Philip Lindsay and just having his playmaking ability is something that you always want to have available to you just as an offense in general. So I know I'm answering both yes and no at the same time. But it's really just kind of that scenario where you'd love to have had him. You think it's obviously always possible that he was going to do something great for you. But you can't just chalk up the loss to the fact that we didn't have him, I don't think.
Right. And so here we go. Red Cloud, glad you're here, man. Appreciate you tuning in. But of course, Red Cloud is not happy with Drew Lock, but so are you guys' takes? Because for me personally, it was a little bit of everyone. Lock through that interception, but Jerry Jeudy dropped a lot of passes. McManus missed a field goal times 2, technically. So yeah, I think this was we had more injuries. I think this was just the entire season all pushed into one game here as to like what we've been feeling all year, right? So
yeah, because I don't think it was
Locke
him
and say-
100%. Like
Yeah,
he didn't
I can't look at
fuck
him
it
and
up.
say
Like
we
I mean,
lost because of
his
Locke.
passes to Judy, which people are talking about a lot. I mean, it's and as should be because he's like need to get targeted, and then he's targeted, and it was painfully like not catching it when you're like, this is what you asked for. But then again, there was a lot of other things that didn't go right either. So,
Right.
and was that Locke's pass actually, or was it just the hands? I mean, at what point does it change from like it was a little bit behind him to he just should have got it like close enough?
Well, that's it. And it's really, one of those games where everybody who has an opinion on Drew Lock saw something to confirm that opinion in this game. If you think he's good, if you think, or he's going to be good, if you think he's improving.
So are you saying, David, that it's the yes and no again?
Yeah, I was just about to say, you want to watch me? Let me sit on this fence one more time. I'm gonna get back up on this fence and sit on both sides for a minute.
Yes, that's okay too, because it was both of them, and I feel like that. It was said already, but like this season we saw, and we got one more game. We see sparks of such greatness in this team, and then we see the flip side of that coin of like, shoot, shoulda, coulda, woulda. This is not as good as it's pretty bad right now. So
pretty bad, right
not
now.
A lot of gray area. We're either great or we're like terrible.
Yeah, incredibly inconsistent. I want to throw this out there. According to Pro Football Focus, this was the Broncos' best passing game this season.
Yeah,
Which
and I don't know.
weird.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever watched Tim Jenkins' QB breakdowns on, a big time. I think a former NFL quarterback does a really good film breakdown of Drew Lock every single week. He also had some nice things to say about Drew Lock's performance this week. Obviously it was not all good, but there was different stuff. It was like he wasn't trying to force it into triple coverage deep too often this game. He was just trying to do things like create a play where there was no play while he was running out of bounds. That was really the one interception I think that counted. That's what happened. He wasn't trying, he was still trying to do something that he shouldn't have been doing because he thought he could do it. Right. But it was a different way. So I don't know if that's saying he's just screwing up differently right now, or if that's saying he's improving.
Or if he's like, or if he's ballsy enough to like, well, I might as well just try this anyways, because maybe I can zip it to him in the end zone, and they're like, haha, no, you can't.
That's the thing.
It's like, good try, Rook, but we saw this, and like, but maybe he can make that the next time, and maybe it'll make him better for being ballsy, or who knows?
It's it. Like at this point, you're 18 games into the young man's career. There's a ton of maybes left, and the reality. Right, and that's the reality of the situation is we're gonna get another year to answer those, and at this time next year, I think we'll at least have clarity one way or the other.
Yeah, for sure. By the end of next year, we will. We will know. He'll have adamant time of like.
I don't think anybody
going or let it go.
Yeah, I don't think anybody at this podcast. Yeah, I don't think anybody on this podcast at this time next year will say we need more time from Drew Lock.
No. So Red Cloud, I know. Some people are just saying get rid of him now. And look, guys, that's just not going to happen. If you think the Broncos are going to go out and get another quarterback this season,
and he says 2 years. It's not 2 full seasons. Yeah. How many games has this dude played? Like, that's what we should be looking at. We should look at 0 preseason this year. So I don't know.
Yeah. So look, there are too many maybes. I do not want to hit the reset button. Nobody out there should want to. There's too many question marks left. So I don't want to give excuses for Drew Lock, but we have to give them the full gambit. Say, this is it, man. We're going to give you a full healthy team, a full off season. We're not going to change your offensive coordinator on you. There is no excuse for you not to be improving next year. If you can't improve and you're still pulling the same crap halfway through this next year, that's it. That's where we need to pull the plug, and that's where you're going to see whatever veteran quarterback we get this offseason step in.
And listen, guys, for everybody who's frustrated and really wants to move on, let me just say I get it. I do too. I mean, the problem is right now, to the detriment of all the young quarterbacks who need a little bit more time, there are just guys who are stepping in and having immediate success, who are coming in and looking like stars at a pace that I don't think anybody's ever seen in the NFL. It's just never been seen before, where we've got this level of star power from such young guys so quickly in their careers. And for everybody else who needs a little more time, like I think was traditional, even as short as 10 years ago, it's just not coming together that quickly. And it's unfair to those guys just to be held to that kind of same standard. And I know, it's a big boy league. You got to put up or shut up. Nobody's going to hand you anything. You've got to go out there and take a job and keep it with your performance on the field. But there's examples like Kurt Warner where I just go, don't give up on a guy too quickly. It just, you can't do it. Even if you got all this other pressure from around the league, that you could be great right now if you just hit the right coach and quarterback combination this year. And that, you probably could if you're the Broncos, but the odds are so slim of getting the right guy, especially with the draft position that we're now going to have. Running it back, for one more year may seem like a slog, but it's such the best way to go for this team.
So, Andrew here, Fergie, how you doing? Glad you're watching, man. So he brings up a couple questions, and what Jared and I did on the post-game podcast, guys, make sure you go listen to it. It's going to be out sometime tomorrow. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there. You make sure you go listen to it, because Jared and I break down and give our inputs in a new segment that we called Couch GM. And what we did is we took a couple comments that we see over and over and over again on Facebook and Twitter, and we gave our inputs. So one of them perfectly right here. A lot of couch GMs out there are saying, get rid of Drew Lock and go get Haskins, because Haskins will give us the edge that we need to win. What are your guys' takes?
I feel like Haskins is absolutely one of the few quarterbacks in the NFL who, by the metrics, like absolute measurables, like numbers, was worse than Drew Lock this season. And it's a really short list of guys. It's like him and Carson Wentz, and those are the names you're going to see connected to the Broncos a lot, and Sam Darnold too. It's really taking a chance. I get it. These are young guys. You think if I got the coaching correct, I can get the most out of it. Our team can get the most out of this guy. I don't understand. And I'm not here to hate on Pat Shurmur. I really kind of like what he's done with the offense this year as a whole, but I don't understand.
Opinion.
I know. I understand that.
Careful.
I get it. I agree. But if you haven't liked what you've seen from him this year with this quarterback, what makes you think you're going to get more from him with, a similar level young quarterback who's starting at year one in his system?
And they were drafted the same year.
Right.
So nobody has more experience than the other.
But even Carson Wentz, a guy who has league experience, like if you plugged him into this scenario instead, I don't understand why you think Pat Shurmur is going to unlock Carson Wentz in ways that Doug Peterson didn't.
So I want to get your take, Ayla and Julian. I'm glad you're here. We have somebody from Columbia, so thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to try. Obviously, there's a lot of comments coming in, so we'll get to them. Believe me, guys. But Ayla, for your take there. So I think a lot of people want change for change's sake. And I think that's where a lot of people are dry. Oh, somebody else is available. We can go get them, and they're going to fix everything right away. And so what do you think?
Well, I think for Broncos country, we just haven't, when we were used to winning and being good, even it's been a while, we want that dynamic team. Like we have seen a lot of change in the quarterback position. It's just huge. And losing this many times or this many seasons in a row after, a Super Bowl high, and you're like, this is the best thing ever. Like, we're the champions. And then it just, if it's not happening now, I can see why 2 full seasons of football seems like a long time with this kid, but he's barely played both of those seasons. So I don't know why another new kid would all of a sudden be able to do a lot better.
Step in and fix it, right?
And
here's
you know what?
one.
we should also consider the fact that we're a little bit spoiled by the fact that the last time we had a QB just step in, we did have instant success with it. It was Peyton Manning, but
Right.
Well, but not.
We did.
Not even complete. I mean, Super Bowls, but like getting mopped up, and then
Mhm.
Yeah,
no,
and
now,
that was a split year, so still
yeah,
dabbling and whatever, because we were lucky to get Peyton Manning. That was great. Like he revived himself. That was pure super fandom. A lot of people started loving us more then, and it's hard to just not having this winningness. But I don't think changing everything every year will fix it. Not
So
right now.
No, it takes time, right? So this is a question, and here's the thing with this question: is it's not would the Broncos trade somebody for Trevor Lawrence? It's would the Jaguars be willing to give up the chance to get Trevor Lawrence? Because that's the question. Is you can throw everything at him. Are they willing to even listen to an offer to pass up on Trevor Lawrence? And I think no. And so for me, that kind of ends the conversation right there. It's like, new point. Whatever you think, we can talk about Von Miller and Cortland Sutton, and it is not going to happen.
Yeah, I would love for yes. I think to answer the question first and foremost, yes, everybody on this show, and I think everybody in Broncos country, with the possible exception of Drew Lock's parents, would trade. I mean, no disrespect to Drew Lock there, but it's Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. Like, just that's the end of the conversation. So yeah, if you had a chance to get him, you'd do anything you could to reasonably do it. But that's the Jaguars' meal ticket for the next, whatever. It's not going to happen.
Let's see. Robert here. Shermer's not a QB whisperer. Let Peyton come in and coach up Lock, or Peyton's a QB coach. I forgot his name. So here's the thing. Peyton Manning isn't going to come back, and at least not now. He's living the high life, kind of just being a dad, going to games where he can and being just kind of a normal guy. Is he going to go back into the football world eventually? Yeah. But I don't see him stepping back in as a QB coach. But, that is something Drew Lock should be looking into is, I think Peyton Manning's coach that he worked with
David Cutcliffe, I think is his name. And to be, obviously he wouldn't come and just be QB coach for the Broncos. His job as it is so much higher profile than that right now. But if you are Drew Lock, if you can do anything to seek him out and get some off-season time scheduled with him, I don't know what that's going to look like this year, but you've got to do everything you can if you're, you've got to improve your craft if you're Drew Lock. That's what you've got to spend your offseason focused on, is doing everything you can just to improve at every level, because you've got a team around you that can do really special things if they grow together.
Yeah, and do we see it in him? Do I see it in him? I totally do. But I'm always that eternal optimist, but there's a little bit this season, some improvement, but it's still disheartening. I'm with Broncos country. I'm never giving up on this team, but I'm sad today. That Chargers game really took it out of me, guys.
Yeah, I get it.
Jonathan, should we go get Stafford? And I'm going to add that to any veteran quarterback.
And Stafford is one in particular that I've really kind of had my eye on as maybe if you were going to get one. Stafford is one of those guys who's always given me just a little bit of pause, because he's never really done as far as deep playoff runs or hardware on his shelf as far as trophies go. He's never really been a guy who has done a ton in the league. He's always been a guy who's put up really good numbers, and that's about all. And there's team issues around him, this, that, and the other thing, but I've always kind of wondered with him, what is it about Matt Stafford that he hasn't pulled everybody around him ahead? Is he just a really good quarterback in the category of quarterbacks who need things to be right around them to succeed? Is he at the top end of that category? I don't know. But it's always given me just a little bit of pause that he can't, I don't think, make special things happen for a team just by himself. Oh, definitely. If it was Stafford or Mariota, then it's Stafford all the way. Mariota's done. He's cooked.
Yeah, I agree. It would be Stafford, but it's hard to say about the veteran quarterback thing because there's nobody right now who would be up to playing who I would think would be a good fit that would ever be the caliber that we've already had. So, it's like either building up the guy that we have, trying to find a new guy, but I don't think there's any veterans that would just fall into place right now that would automatically fix things either.
So here's if you're going in the past and you're out there saying that we need to go
to football past.
We're going to football past recent Broncos memories and time trials, if you will. People right now are saying we need to go get a veteran quarterback because a veteran quarterback is going to fix the situation. Let's go back to butt fumble Sanchez. How'd that work? Let's go back to Case Keenum. How'd that work?
There's an argument to be made that there's an argument to be made that Case Keenum's been the best quarterback for the Broncos since Peyton Manning, which is really sad. Really, it's more of a just let's reflect on how kind of sad that is. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, you're exactly right. So, but that's the point is if that's the best, what makes us think that all of a sudden this next one's going to work? Look, Peyton Manning is just such a unique case. The fact that the Colts let him go because they thought he was done is mind-blowing that they would have done that, right? And they paid for it. We've seen that just going to grab another veteran quarterback that's available and throwing him in there is not the right answer. It is not going to work. You're grabbing journeyman quarterbacks. There's a reason they were cut for their team by their team. And so what's so special about them? So look, I'm telling you guys right now, Drew Lock will be the starter. If you hear about a quarterback battle, you ignore it. I really strongly feel we're going to get a veteran QB, but it is to replace Drew Lock halfway through next season if he doesn't, pan out. But 100% Drew Lock will be the starter no matter what. Jared, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I know I'm a little late. I apologize to everybody, but I just assume here.
You better be sorry.
Nothing but talking about Locke for the last 22 minutes. How
we haven't even got to Jerry Jeudy yet.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll get there. Yeah. No. It's been a good one. We're going into the end of an off season. We obviously have a lot to talk about, and it's what a lot of people are going to worry about is the quarterback situation, which is something we've been worried about for the last 5 years. I get why it's a hot topic.
Yeah. So Robert here.
It's only like a very important part of football. Like, who's your quarterback? It's
a very sober and coaching.
Like nobody who knows anything about football is like, oh yeah, don't they have that one thing, the quarterback? Like
the quarterback. What?
I always remember the tight end.
Okay.
All right, I'm not there yet.
Enough for that.
I'm not there yet.
So, Robert here, if we could have any veteran fantasy QB who's currently playing, who would it be?
Oh man,
I mean, I think that's. I don't know.
Let's take Patrick Mahomes out of the equation. I actually like this question a little bit.
Okay.
Let's say 10-year career or more. Let's say 10-year veteran or better. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, and it's purely fantasy. It's not a makeshift fantasy with who would be up soon.
No,
okay.
right. Yeah.
Shit. Well, that changes the whole thing.
Yeah. I know. I took that. I'm glad
you went Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I went nuclear.
Not only did he not ask if anybody wanted to go first, he immediately stole the one that everybody is like, "Oh, I'd absolutely have him here."
Which is why I didn't want to ask anybody if they wanted to go first.
Which is why I did want, but did it anyways.
All right, 10-year quarterback.
Fidel knows where it's at.
How about Russell Wilson?
I was thinking about that one too. I like that concept, but he is really, and he's another guy that started off kind of slow. He kind of peaked and then he kind of went back down. But in the last couple of years, he's actually had a pretty good season. His defense just hasn't been able to keep up. I think he's a pretty good quarterback as far as a franchise quarterback goes.
See, Breeze, I think his arm is done. I mean, maybe not done, but the best days are still.
Maybe not done, but for the 2-year scenario, if we were to break his neck and need to rehab and then come back again and win us a Super Bowl, I'd be okay with that. Oh wait, we already did that. Never mind.
Wow.
Red Cloud.
All right, Red Cloud.
Red Cloud's coming with the takes right now.
I get it. I get it, Red Cloud. We shot down your takes pretty hard earlier. Now you're just trolling. I understand the impulse. I'm really glad that you're still a consistent viewer after all these years. Red
I know,
Cloud.
right?
Here's another person that and John brings him up. I think. What about Ryan? Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan is towards the end of his career, but I think when he has young receivers and a decent line, he reads so well. He can read a defense so well. And if that's what we need, that's what we need. But I do like Matt Ryan in that aspect.
Yep. So it's kind of the same Matt Stafford syndrome to me, where it's just like, all right. I mean, and Matt Ryan has had offenses around him, and he just hasn't put it over the top. And why hasn't it gone over the top, Matt Ryan? Tell us.
Can you do that one more time for me, David?
Over the top.
That's what I was looking for. Yep.
All right. If Matt was here, I would ask him directly, why has Matt Ryan been unable so far to put it over the top?
We'll have to table that till the next time Matt's on. Let's write that down.
The third of those three names, though, mentioned Dalton.
I have a pen.
I think would be my ideal option for backup next year if he's available and wants to leave Dallas for some reason.
That is a good point.
We're going to keep him, but it could be possible that he's available. Not sure. So a couple of comments now here, Sergio and down here.
Well, I don't think I got to answer the QB thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would definitely go Russell Wilson because that guy has worked with a lot of different, I think Pete Carroll being a great coach and they work together, but he has had a shifting team too, and he's been great. He's adaptable. That guy's just good no matter who he's playing with. So that's great.
Yeah, like that call.
Absolutely. And I would like to see what Tyler Lockett would be doing on another team. I think that career, they have made each other, I think, so much better. Just that pairing. I
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, Red Cloud, I'm not even going there. I'm not even going there, man. So, hey, everyone, remember that on January 12th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, normal Tuesday showtime, we're doing our fan appreciation episode. No other group out there does that. We are, our motto here is Fans, Brews, and Broncos News. The reason Fans is number one is because we do this all for you guys. So it's time to give back for all of your support over the last 5 years. We're going to be doing giveaways, prizes. We're going to be just sitting back, drinking, hanging out with you guys, not necessarily talking about the Broncos, but just shooting the shit with all of you and having a good evening, right? To kind of close out the season. So make sure you join us then. There's going to be some pretty awesome stuff that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Just sit back and actually get to, talk to them and just talk to our fans, talk to us, and we could just get you guys in here. Hopefully, maybe get some of you guys on the show here and have a couple drinks and just hang out.
Exactly. So it's going to be some good times. Okay. And then don't forget about all our off-season shows and content we're going to be providing. We'll explain that more later, but we're not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay. So we spent a lot of time so far talking about Drew Lock and the quarterback situation. Jared, we were doing the segment that we did on our post-game podcast, the Couch QB takes. And so the first one was quarterbacks. The next one, we need to get rid of. Last thing I want to mention one thing about Locke, and it'll be my last thing. We can move on to Locke and we can talk about receivers and Jerry Jeudy. I promise you. After this, we're done. Drew Lock's progression. You guys have probably already mentioned this. Drew Lock's progression throughout the year has been so good. And yes, there are minor mistakes that he is making, and some of those minor mistakes are costly, aka interceptions. But his progression has been so good that I do think that with consistency with this team, you're going to see those mistakes go away or be so minimal they're not recognizable, and we're just going to start firing on all cylinders. We start at the beginning of the season. I was thinking about this last night after our post-game podcast, Kev. I was thinking about it at the beginning of the season, everyone preached be calm with this. We have a new quarterback, only played 4 games, very young receivers, a newer OC. Everybody be patient with them. And then nobody's being patient with them because we missed the playoffs again. I get it. It's been 5 years. It sucks. But
if we can get rid of those little mistakes, which I think is all it takes is a little bit of time with the right people, then we're going to be good to go. That's all I got to say about Locke. We can move on. Woo-hoo.
Wait, I just want to.
It was totally that.
That's the last thing.
No,
No.
that was it. I even said he made slowly but surely progress. Like
I think this
people
triangle.
have to recognize that.
This triangle of team headgear that we've got going on that we talked about with you and Ayla and I, the triangle is united in this opinion. All right, yeah. we are all on. No,
well,
get that. All right, okay, all right. I'm trying to.
Now. We're on the same page right now.
I'm trying to promote a message of unity, Kevin.
Hey guys, triangle up.
Yeah, triangle up. Just you got no. There we go. Yeah. So spatial awareness is hard, and I'm a little drunk. Yes. Anyway, let's continue on to a different topic. Maybe we should.
No, we're all locked out over it, and seriously, everybody here believes in him and should give him a little more time. Like we are on the same team with Locke, no matter what hat you wear.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
right, so now back to you, Kim. Where are we going next?
Yeah, the next one.
We're going to receivers. Darn it.
So Robert said. Robert
said, team flat bill.
So Robert said, "Hey, I won on the show for the fan appreciation episode," and then he posted this, and so I don't know if we can get you in, Robert. I'm sorry.
Oh, we're going to be getting
originally, Robert. Yes. Now
your own. Who is wearing the flat brim? Like I do the cool hats, you guys. If nobody starts to switch my hat every week, then I'm sad that I'm even on this show.
This off season, I may have to experiment with like a flat brim puffball hybrid to get Robert fully on board.
You know what? If you can find one of those,
I actually have one in my closet. So
I've seen it. They make them.
It's stylish, and I don't know if I can pull it off, but we're gonna see.
I have every single hat in my closet.
I'm just kidding, Robert. You might be one of the last to show up on the show. We'll see. But
Robert, we're going to get you to the front of the line. Don't even worry about it. Like, I'm not going to peel back the curtain on the behind the scenes stuff that's going to happen back here. But Robert's coming to the front of the line. Don't even.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Glenn, the Raiders game is going to be in Denver. Just so you all know.
Yes,
I think he's talking about. Next year. So. Ooh. So next year there's going to be 17 regular season games, isn't there? I think that's what
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, right. So instead of having 8 home games and 8 away games,
flip a coin for it because I just would. Like, I'm pretty sure that should be the best way to do it. Like, they just flip coins.
Knowing Roger Goodell, that's probably what's going to happen. Or a game of eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
No, it's kind of like the COVID stuff now.
We are getting home game.
You're a good team, then we're going to give you the better deal. So if you're the team, it's like, you're going to get the home team. You're going to be the home team. If you're like the Broncos, you're going to be the away team. But I mean, it's just a chance. It's a flip of the coin, but flip of a coin. So.
Yeah, so I haven't seen how they're going to decide that. I think it's going to be per division. I think there's going to be 2 home, 2 away per division, based on, I guess, obviously the last game will be played. Like it'll be AFC West versus NFC East or whatever. All the games will be on the same type. But I don't know if we're going to be a home game or not. I don't think it will really know until the schedule comes out. Sorry, I can't get a better answer for you. I'll keep looking though.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll hear over during the off season when they start putting together the schedule and everything. What I imagine is 16 teams this year are going to be the home team for that 17th game. Next year, the other 16 teams are going to be the home team, and they're just going to flip back and forth.
Right.
So, I think people are just going to be put into buckets, and every other year you're the home team for that 17th game. So we'll see, but I'd imagine, look, it's Roger Goodell. Who knows? I would think that's what they would do, something along those lines. But anyway. Let's see here. The other coach GM comments that I've seen a lot of is Jerry Jeudy is a bust and we need to get rid of him.
Oh, yeah, that's a good couch. That's a good couch thing. Couch coach. What are you guys calling couch GM?
Couch GM.
Yeah, because he seems like he is a bust. He has gotten profiled this year, so I feel like defense is new to kind of keep an eye after him, especially after missing Sutton. And it's like, okay, well, they got Jeudy. Let's cover that guy. But then this last game gave everybody, it was somehow enhanced. He got targeted, which seemed like a lot. and just it. All I could replay was the ball bouncing off his hands, and it just seemed pretty bad this last game, like worse than earlier. I don't know, but do I think we should just get rid of him? No, that guy's going to be really great once he starts making it happen and it's totally there. Like, why would we have taken him? You know, he played for a great college team and definitely has it in him. So get rid of him? Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, he's already flashed greatness on the field.
Absolutely.
Like,
You know, and he needs to get mad at himself and have himself a rookie year, but give up on him? No. Did you see that guy's footwork and what he's capable of and his route running? I mean, that guy's great. Just like catch the ball, which
right. Yeah, it's the most important thing.
All of us can say, but like easier said than done. He needs a little breaking in too to the NFL. It's not the same as college.
Mm-hmm. So, Jared, you and I talked about this on the post game podcast, so make sure everyone goes check out that. But if you want to give any kind of,
I do want to mention a couple of things that I mentioned on there, so it'll give it away. But there's two things I want to mention. The first one is something that Ayla brought up, is the fact that we kept targeting him. And this is something that, you know, on Ragers we talked about too. We kind of knew that we were going to start getting the ball. It's unfortunate that KJ Hamler went out early with his concussion, but we knew we were going to try to get the ball to our young guys. We have nothing else to play for other than to see what our young guys can do, especially the ones that we know could be stars in the future. We knew Judy was going to get targeted. I think Judy was going to get targeted 15 times in the game. Nah, I didn't think it was going to be that much. But there's two things about that. One, obviously we're trying to get the ball to our young guys. And two, Drew Lock is trying to, after the first or second drop, he went up to Jerry Judy on the sideline and said, "Hey man, you still got this. This is fine. Let's do this. Let's go there." And then he kept throwing to Jerry Judy because he wanted him to have that bounce back game. And I think that's good leadership on something. I said wasn't going to mention Lock again, but something on Lock that is a good leadership point is that you're going to keep going to the guy. Keep giving him the ball until he can make that bounce back. And obviously he had a rough game. He had a couple big drops that were probably costly to the game. But
there was other aspects of the game why we lost as well. And I don't think that was the only one. It just seemed highlighted for some reason because we were all, you know, everybody's been cheering, like, give it to Judy.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. You're gonna complain about your just conditioning and this, that, and the other. And then it feels like they did it more, but we didn't get there. But it wasn't the only reason why we didn't win that game. We put ourselves in a hole for way other reasons, and we beat ourselves in a lot of other aspects. So that wasn't it for sure.
Absolutely, but I'd say if we have 7 reasons why we didn't win that game, which I agree 100%. I think there's 7 reasons. 3 of them would be him. And the drop. I think that's the problem, is because there was 5 big drops. There was 5 big drops. Obviously, the touchdown in the end zone, the one towards the end of the game as we were driving down. There's one on a 3rd and medium that he could have had that we could have kept the drive alive. There's a couple little ones there here and there that were rough, but again, he's a young guy. The second thing I want to mention, that was the first thing I want to mention. The second thing I want to mention is if you've played or coached or at any level as a wide receiver or quarterback, really at any position, they tell you to be like Dory. Have a short-term memory. You cannot dwell on your drops because then that's all you're thinking about the next time the ball comes to you. And that's something you tell every single athlete as they're going through. Every single time you tell them you have to have a short-term memory loss. You cannot remember that drop because next time that ball's coming to you, that's all you're going to be focused on, and it's going to happen. So, and that's just something that he didn't have. When he went to the sideline, he got really down on himself. He was really upset. He came out and he had a chance to bounce back that game, and he didn't. But I do feel like he is going to come back from this game. I think that's going to be the worst game of his career, and I think he's going to have a really long career in the NFL.
Well, and they should give it a shot on Sunday. Like, keep going for it. Like, prove people wrong this time. Like, let that be it. And, come back and bounce back against, no better team to beat than the Raiders. And don't give up on it either. Have that short-term memory. It should be selective memory. Like, remember the good catches and just that, and keep going with that, and forget the past and keep going, because he totally has it in him. As with Drew, I mean, I think, Jared, what you missed is David was doing these yes and no answers. Being in one foot in both sides of it, and it's exactly that. Because this team has it, but just don't let these, that many drops, totally suck you down. Kind of forget about it. Let's keep going.
Yep.
Right.
So Robert has specifically asked me to look at this comment for all of us. So I think looking at his Instagram and people's Twitters and stuff, you can spend a lot of time saying, well, you had a bad game and look at all the stuff you're doing. But he says, get in the playbook and go practice your craft. Come on, man. So look, I can't be mad at Jerry Jeudy. Like, I can be very frustrated. Right. Like, dude, that was your first real game of getting a lot of chances. Yeah, you dropped the ball. I get it. Terrible pun, but I can't see him with the support he has around him. I don't see him dwelling on that and letting that game define his entire career.
Right. And to that point too of him like listening to music, like let the man have his fun. I mean, and here's my thing is like, it's like, yeah, he knows the playbook. He's obviously getting open. He knows the playbook. He knows his plays. It's just the small stuff about dropping it. And the best part about that and his whole getting upset about it is he loves the game. He loves the game. He loves being there. He loves the game. You could tell it in his emotion during the game and post game.
No. Right. And the other, that's, go ahead, Ayla.
Well, no, he should be doing his thing. And I think getting into his groove, doing a social media, they practice, they go home, he's got time. He doesn't have a family. He's not, whatever. Right. Even if he did have a family, he probably has somebody posting that stuff for him on social media. It's not really him. And but he loves football and he's good at it. So it doesn't seem to me like he isn't keeping up with that part of the game of it, because he is. It's just he got covered a lot earlier, and then when they gave him a chance this last game, it was highlighted that he didn't make some catches, which sucks. But it's
well, and it's
I don't think it's affecting him.
Yeah, the drops are mental. I mean, the physical talent is undeniable. The football knowledge, where you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to make DBs react to you, off the charts. It's just these drops are just, I don't know if it's a concentration thing.
Well, I think people mellow out because sometimes you see, we've seen players in the past with the big personalities and egos, and social media just shows a little bit of insight of something that they want to personify. But there's been wild players before, and then they hone it in for the field, and sometimes they mellow out and it gets a lot better. But I think he's a rookie, and I definitely there's a reason why we took him so early and believed in him.
I'm telling you, give everybody the full off season, the full training camp, the full season,
and full healthy other team to work with. Like have another,
Yeah. So this is where I'm saying, like, I'm optimistic, not because of my orange goggles, but because I see the writing on the wall. Are we going to go win the Super Bowl next year? I would bet no. Okay, but can we be a very competitive team? Then yeah, I would say that we can be a very competitive team.
Jared, do you have beer back there?
Huh?
What do you? Okay, this obviously you set this all up.
I'm
and
jealous.
Doing it really nonchalantly now to show it off. So why don't you tell us what you're doing?
I'm jealous.
You have beer
I'm over here drinking. No, this is a whiskey decanter, and it has a little pour spout on it I got for Christmas, and I'm super. It also, for the record, for those of you that know me, I'm in the Navy. Has a ship in the middle of it that you can't really see on the camera, but yeah, it's a ship, and it has a pour spout thing. Yeah, it's super cool for situations like this where I could just pour myself another drink.
It's a boat.
Wow.
I'm gonna kill you, Kevin.
If you didn't know, if you call them boats to Navy people, they get really, really upset. So,
but he's all the way in California, so there's nothing he can do about it.
There's nothing I can do about it right now. But trust me, when we have that Orange Weekly reunion, this is happening.
Yeah, there is talk about us doing something in Las Vegas next year. We'll see, of course, how that all pans out. But, might be something open to Orange Weekly fans to come join us too. So lots of things next year that will be coming down the pipe, and just watch out for it, guys. Cool. So lots of discussion from this last week. Obviously, we've got the pregame podcast coming out here in a couple days. But at this point, just like Jerry Jeudy needing to forget about his drops and forget about that game, it's time that we go and focus on beating the Raiders to close out the season in Denver. Wish there would be fans there. Obviously, there can't be, but need something positive going into this offseason. So when it comes to the Raiders, who at best can finish 8-8 if they beat us, but hopefully we can change that and make them have another actual losing season. What are you guys looking forward to when it comes to this game in terms of the matchup?
There's always like a decent Derek Carr meltdown chance, like where he just, has a really bad game and, throws 3 picks and John Gruden gets really mad. And that's always really fun to watch. So like just in terms of, and I think this is a winnable game for the Broncos in every facet. So check out the pregame podcast for more information on that. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping for. If I had a Christmas wish, let's say, it would be to have a Derek Carr meltdown, John Gruden tantrum game, because those are always fun.
Yeah.
If we could cause drama to their off season, like if we can melt down and then they put in Mariota in the second half, or they put in Mariota randomly because he's thrown 3 interceptions or something stupid, then all of a sudden their off season talk is just all about whether or not his car is going to be the guy or if they're going to keep Mariota. And I think I would love to be that conversation starter and obviously beat the Raiders, but that would be just amazing for me.
That's a really good point, though, because they end the season, like, hey, we were a playoff hopeful team, and then we ended the season the way we did. Oh, and we lost to the Broncos. Yeah, you're talking about not only a quarterback controversy, but John Gruden's been there, 5 years now? They haven't had a winning season either.
Absolutely.
So now you're talking about you can't even go 8-8 on a season, when you started 6-4. So that would be I would have to maybe listen to some Raiders stuff during the offseason just to hear how miserable they are. Yeah,
and so they're right on the edge. Like just like we're right on the edge of this Drew Lock back and forth, they're right on the edge of the Carr talk. Like already he got injured and they brought in Mariota who did pretty well for a couple of games, and they were like, "Oh, is Carr going to come back and be the starter?" So all we need is just that one big game to turn it around and be like the talk of the town.
Yep. I like
we already ended Mariota's career with one team once.
We did.
Right, so like
it's not above us.
No, it could happen.
It could. Robert here. How many corners do we have left? I think the answer is I think
0 to 1.
0.
0 to 1. Yeah.
We still have Michael Ojemudia.
Ojemudia.
Devontae Bosby is still healthy.
The answer is 0.75.
0.75.
We had Harrison, who actually came in and played well, I thought. I think we signed him off the 49ers practice squad, and last week was his first game action, and he didn't do terribly. Let's see. I mean, I think Bosby did play terribly. He missed a couple of tackles, and
he benched him.
Yeah, he got.
Yeah, that was a rough one to watch. Everybody was expecting him to come in. He could not keep up. Ojemudia played decent.
Yeah, decent.
Ojemudia was, and again as a rookie going in there and supposed to be like the 3rd, 4th string corner,
right?
Coming in to be the number 1 guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, decent's a perfect word for it.
Oh man.
Here you go, Fidel. Will Parks thoughts?
I love the fact that we have him back.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. It gave it a little energy towards it. I'm grateful.
And the chemistry that him and Simmons have, sometimes you can't recreate that. I think that's something that we were missing a little bit. Him in the slot was okay. Again, nobody really played exceptional in that game. There's nobody that I can really point to that was like, oh man, this person deserves the game ball, and that was kind of rough. And like I said, the whole loss is really on incy-bincy mistakes from everybody. If the whole team's not playing together, we can't win a game. So, but I do like Will Parks back. I like the chemistry that he has with Justin Simmons. I like the communication he has, and it showed in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool guys. So, make sure you listen to that pregame podcast. There's a lot to talk about. I know the shape the Broncos are in. A lot of us are downtrodden, but we have a chance to, like we're saying, absolutely change the course of the Raiders offseason and just make them miserable throughout the entire first part of 2021. So I think this is a great chance for us to start off the new year fresh for the Broncos to, end the season on a positive note. But there's a lot of things that we need to look at. The big thing is our defense is just all banged up. That's the big one. What are we going to see from Drew Lock in the last game of the season? And either way, there's still a lot to watch for. If people are like, "Oh, we're already eliminated. The last game doesn't mean anything. I'm not going to watch." Man, there is still a lot to watch for.
Right. So equally as us causing them to have an interesting offseason and debates and, arguments, they have a chance to do the same thing to us. Now, if Locke goes out there and throws 3 interceptions and throws for less than 100 yards, we have a different story too. So we have a lot that we have to play for too. He has to prove himself. I do think the coaching staff is completely safe at this point. I don't think there's any issues with coaching.
I think that's been confirmed, at this point.
Yeah, well, especially at the head coach, but I think he's going to keep all of his. I think he's keeping all of it. This is obviously special teams coach is probably going to is on the edge there, but I think Pat Shurmur is keeping his job regardless. So really, the only people that really have anything to prove are the players. The players have to go out there and prove themselves because some of those guys are young guys that are trying to prove themselves to either find another team or to stay on our 52-man next year, or to just make sure that they're staying with us. Like, I think that's the big thing. I think that they have to prove something.
No. Okay, guys. Once again, remember, check out Centennial State Insurance Agency if you're shopping around for any kind of insurance, even if you just want a quote, and you can get to know them and see just kind of the awesome people they are and how dedicated they are to taking care of you and not just taking your money. So make sure you give them a call, 303-838-0554. Remember, January 12th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, normal Tuesday show was our fan appreciation episode. Giveaways, guest appearances from some of you. We'll let you know how that goes down. We have to figure that out yet, but it's gonna be a good time, just us sitting back chatting with you guys, not necessarily answering Broncos questions, but just shooting the shit and drinking and having a good night there. We got a ton of stuff during the off season. We're probably going to keep up once a month the Broncos trivia nights that we were doing this last year. We're also going to have stuff during free agency, the OTAs, free agency, the combine, the draft, all that stuff. So Jared,
I have an option I haven't brought up to you guys. I'm doing it live because it's going to bring. What if we do a Tequila Tuesday trivia? Tequila Trivia Tuesdays? Tequila Trivia Tuesdays.
Only if we can get tacos too.
Can it be
Taco,
fried tequila?
Tacos, tequila, Trivia Tuesdays.
Can it be fried tequila?
I like all of it. Oh yeah, absolutely fried tequila.
I'm scared, and I have to work.
Me too.
I have to work every Wednesday. That should be noted. So we could try. But if I die after the first one, Jared's wife on the scene to give us.
Sweetheart, I love you. This was terrible timing.
No, great timing from a really fantastic human being who was absolutely correct. Jared's trying to cause trouble, and I like the enthusiasm behind the suggestion.
Okay, maybe one of them can be a tequila trivia night. Like
right,
they don't have
Jared,
to all be.
Jared
Maybe one of the nights. Yeah, we'll theme it out on a Tuesday. So one theme, one out of the trivia nights could be a tequila night, and that's it. I don't think they should all be, because that just sounds like I will never be not hungover.
Well, hey guys, bottom line is we're gonna have content throughout the off season with y'all. It's not gonna be as every week like we're doing it now, but there'll still be some podcasts. There'll be some episodes. You can still check out our website, BroncosOrangeWeekly.com, for the latest articles, podcast, live show, whatever the case is. So we got you guys covered. It's going to be a good time. With that being said, kind of going around the room, let's see what any other thoughts you have on this second to last actual Bourbon Broncos and OBS show for the year. Sad.
I don't want to be sad at the end of the year.
It's sad. Okay, that's fair.
Let's just, I was kind of thinking about this earlier this show. Let's just, we don't really know how close we came to just not having football at all this year. And it kind of goes to show that there's, circumstances that nobody that can foresee that could take away football any given year. And I don't mean that to be a bummer. I just mean it to say, I know it's kind of been a sucky year and we haven't had a ton of successes in the win column recently, but just don't take it for granted, guys. This is a sport we all love. We all love to watch it. We all love to participate in it. We love talking about it so much that we give up our time to do this with you guys, and it's awesome. So, just don't take that for granted. Enjoy it for what it is and not what it should be.
Oh, David, you come with a good message.
I'm trying. Where you're not going anywhere, Red.
Yeah.
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 You're not. If
Oh,
this
good
could be
good
I don't want to
message,
say there
dude.
couldn't be a show without you, Red Cloud, but it's like it's like.
I honestly, Red Cloud, you may be the only one that consistently sometimes just like, no, you're wrong. This is what I think, and I love
Right.
that.
Bless you.
I love the fact that we disagree. I think you said it earlier. I love the fact that we disagree on things. You're just like, no, I believe this, and we're like,
We would
okay,
have-
cool.
Okay.
We'd have almost nothing to talk about because we just sit around agreeing with each other.
But
I
still find that
agree,
you're
David.
here.
Oh man, you guys are all
Go ahead, Taylor.
awesome. Robert, no, guys, you're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. So how can you miss us? I mean,
Yeah,
geez.
Yeah, you're not
we're
going
sticking
anywhere
around.
either, Robert. Good lord, you're going to be first on the fan appreciation show.
Right, I know.
Yeah,
maybe second.
no, maybe second. No. He's going to be first, Robert.
All right.
Cool. Well, it's about that time, ladies and gents. Thanks for watching. Daniel, you're awesome. No, seriously, thanks for tuning in. Again, we do this all for you guys, fans, brews, and Broncos news is our slogan. And we're after 5 years, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. Looking forward to the next however many years we're going to be around. 15, 20.
7
Absolutely.
billion.
We're gonna grow old together. This is gonna be great.
Fidel, don't you put that evil upon us.
Wow.
Don't be doing that. We're not. You can't
Honestly,
cancel us.
and, I don't know if we were just savants or something, but we started this whole concept of like doing these live shows in our own houses where we didn't have to see each other or meet each other. Mostly because Kevin, I stopped wanting to come over to your house and see you in person because that was weird.
It's really uncomfortable to be that next to a person that short for so long.
Right. Yeah, it was weird.
Like,
I
I
know you
only
guys
have
can't
to
tell
sit
now,
on
but
one
we had the show
phone
when we were,
okay.
If you go back to year one, it kind of looks like this. And
yeah, it's
weird.
unsettling.
weird
It's
I have to
thing.
give it up extra. I'm doing this the entire show, like propping myself up in my arms. Just
a
yeah.
couple of phone books.
I'm-
back when that
No,
was
just
okay.
one
Yeah,
phone
I know,
book.
you just
Okay,
need-
just
All right,
one.
it's just one phone book.
Couple Apple boxes, that's all.
Next year's fantasy football team name, Kevin's phone book.
Okay. So that means you're automatically going to lose fantasy again because
Yeah, but
if you name your team making fun of me, you automatically suck, as we've seen this year. So that's
Bet
okay.
on it now. 4 wins or higher next year.
Right, because I named my team Big Balls McGee, which was obviously making fun of Kevin, and my team sucks. So you guys are exactly right. Good one, Kev.
Just
That one,
saying.
no, Jared. No.
I have more questions than answers right now.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that off the show. When we're
Okay,
not live
cool,
anymore.
cool.
That'll be a conversation we share with everybody on the 12th.
On the fan appreciation show, absolutely.
Fan appreciation
That's right.
episode.
Mhm.
So,
Ayla
Okay.
makes terriblejokes.com.
Red Cloud, don't make me block you, man.
Airports and their
.org.
phone books.
Red Cloud, don't make me block you.
That's okay. The
Okay.
Marines are a department of the Navy, so he's on my team.
The Marinus.
The
Is that how they're
Marines.
pronounced? Marinus. Anyway, I think it's
Hey,
time
oh
for
my
us to head
gosh,
out.
we gotta go.
Yeah, we got
Good stuff, guys. Hey, we'll see you again next week. But of course, remember we have the live pregame show, live halftime hash, and the postgame podcast, pregame podcast. So a couple more weeks of all that content headed your way, and then I said we'll let you know about the off season. So nothing else left to say, guys, other than finish it with a very strong
Go
Broncos.
Broncos.
Take care.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know